and gentlemen, boys and girls, I really think that the two people that are up for a feature is worth our full attention. I really do. So I'm really loving to hear this conversational, this poetry that is like a conversation between people. I think it'd be really cool to hear what the two of them have. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Tom, Roby, and Jenene Ravesloot.
Thank you all for coming on this long holiday weekend. We truly appreciate it. Really nice. Good to see all of you here. I want to introduce this.
Yeah. Well, this feature is based on a simple idea that poetry, a poem, has more than one voice. And so poems are not so simple after all. They have a complexity, and we have picked out a number of poems that are amenable to this. They weren't written for that particular purpose, but they it turns out that they sound better, and they have a greater interest when we take a poem that one of us wrote or that we wrote together, or even poems of your favorite poems from your favorite authors. One of ours is E. Cummings. We have a couple of poems of his thrown in. And these then are poems that function like a conversation, as Janet says. They are dialogue poems where we go back and forth. And so we'll tell you as we go along what are the poems and who they are by. The first poem is...
we're going to have to adjust this a little bit, I'm sorry. The first poem is Double Weave Wall Hanging with Black Stones, and this was published in my book Loot, and was actually inspired by a weaving that I did. And I'm going to start it off. Notice how stone sits in the hand like a little black bird, boneless. It sings inside its dark skin for those who can hear it.
Stone wants to be heard, felt. Stone is the last weeping leaf at dusk. A murmured yes in the middle of the night. Dawn stillness that rises like a dust mote on the windowsill, gloomy as it descends.
Stone is a blank screen, a projection, implacable as a shaman.
Stone is a talisman, a fetish. And when the shutters are finally thrown back, stone will glow like seal skin or the black eye of a woman behind the veil of fine mesh.
This is the song of the black olive in the hills of Pistoia, black smoke. This is the blank stare of death, a panther counting its iron bars in a zoo, a black-tongued dog, a venomous snake. This is stone. It hisses in its pocket of sand, shifts, sinks.
Now it is nothing but black dust, black blood. It is no longer itself. Memory of stone. Stone.
Tom, you need to pull the mic around and talk into it because you're not getting any amplification.
Oh, okay. Am I okay though? Am I getting enough?
You're fine.
Okay. So, you're starting this one off.
All right, this next...
Eat the mic, as they
Eat
say.
the mic. Get close to that mic, baby.
All right. This is Undine by French poet Bertrand, who invented the prose poem. And listen Do you know what you hear?
A flurry of rain thrown against your window by me, Undine, spirit of the water.
The drops trail down the glass. Each carries a point of moonlight for a heart. And there, on her castle terrace, her silks rustling like leaves, a woman contemplates the stars and the sky and the restless lake.
The waves are my sisters, swimming the paths which wander towards my palace, the walls of poised water between the treble poles of earth and fire and water. Listen. Do you know what you hear? My father strikes the water with an alder branch. My sisters clasp the green islands in arms of white foam, lifting the water lilies, moving the rushes, or tease the ancient willow who casts its line baited with leaves in the darting water.
When she had breathed her song, she begged me to put her ring on my finger, to be her husband and sink with her down, down to her drowned palace, to be king of all the lakes. I told her I loved a mortal woman. Abashed and vexed, she dissolved in tears and laughter, vanished in a scatter of rain, white streams across the dark night of my window. Thank you.
I swore I would never go to Tucson, Arizona, but I did go visit my ex-mother-in-law, and while there, I was really amazed. The desert is really very beautiful and quite raucous. I was very surprised. So I wrote this villanelle variation about that experience.
In the desert, the nights are cool and dry. At midnight, I find you curled like a question mark. In your sleep, you ask, who'll feed me? Half laughing.
This is a season of no reply. We lay together in the dark. In the desert, the nights are cool and dry.
I feel the breath of something passing. How can I remark? In your sleep, you ask, who'll feed me? Half laughing.
Sands shift in the bowl of sighs. A coyote slinks across the park. In the desert, the nights are cool and dry.
What is the use of packing? Starving saguaros stand tall and stark. In your sleep, you ask, who'll feed me? Half laughing.
4 more years of drought, then these will die. We no longer swim beneath a starry arc. In the desert, the nights are cool and dry. In your sleep you ask, who'll feed me? Half laughing.
Thank you.
So we're gonna sit together.
Do you want to share?
No, we're gonna share.
Actually, I think yes.
You don't wanna be cheek to cheek, honey?
We will.
Tea for 2 and 2.
We will be cheek to cheek.
We're going to do Marksman. We co-wrote this, and it's really funny. I came home one night and Tom said, I have nothing. I have just little bits of lines here and there. And he started to read it. I said, you have a poem. So we sort of built on it. So I'll start it out as Marksman. Marksman puts on his work gloves, hard hat, grabs his lunch pail, heroically strides to the bus stop, hijacks the #1 bus to the revolution. Marksman marks his territory by pissing in the snow next to Moneyman's cone. How much is enough? Marksman takes a little bit longer to write, a lot more than that.
Marksman is a marked man. Crosshairs mark the back of his red neck. Marksman clutches a Molotov cocktail in both hands, stops off at Walmart, buys a new barricade. The cashier gives him a red flag, free of charge. Marksman likes that, celebrates by marking his territory just a little bit more, circles his doghouse that he has brought with him in case it rains.
Marksman incites a new revolt, a new oppression, a new apprehension of ever newer revolts, of revolutions on replay. Marksman is Barkman, wonders if he can walk the dog, dog the walk, eat the dog.
Marksman is a marked man who still reads Karl Marx. Marksman is a marked man who crosshairs the backs of the boss man's bald head. Marksman likes to play dress-up as Juggles the Clown. Marksman sneaks around the corner, fires warning shots into boss man's stretch limo's tires. Marksman is cracked, a cracked shot on the pistol range, a long shot on big shots, bumping off people who can't be replaced. Marksman is a marked man.
Marksman breaks the bank, scares a teller, shoots a guard. Marksman just wants lots of 20s and unmarked bills, makes his getaway in a red unmarked Mercedes. Marksman is a marked man.
Marksman gets used to making his mark, sees the back of his neck on a billboard, bullseye on his back. Marksman waits to be marked down. Marksman is a marked man.
Marksman snatches his sandwich, lunch pail at 3 a.m., then again at 6 p.m., puts on his gloves, hard hat on his hard head, after marking his territory in the bathroom, heads out the door, strides past the bus stop, marches 9 miles to his home, makes his dinner, watches TV, goes to bed. Marksman can't sleep. Marksman takes a sleeping pill, raids the refrigerator at 2 p.m., gets ready for work, gets ready for the next revolution. Marksman is a marked man.
Marksman arrives at work at 4 o'clock ahead of the revolution, just as Straw Boss Man nails up a sign that reads, "Shut down for non-payment of bribes." Marksman makes his mark on the unemployment check he receives 8 weeks later. Marksman feels the revolution has stalled for good. Marksman is a marked man, can't cash his unemployment check because the bankers are still on holiday. Marksman is a madman.
Marksman looks for a tasty garbage can, can't find one because they all live in gated communities with packs of hungry guard dogs. Marksman is hungry man. Marksman is a marked man.
Marksman marks up his copy of Das Kapital, strides to the Capitol, joins the mob that is celebrating the Haymarket riot, yells, "Power with the people," takes over the power station, appoints Reddy Kilroy power broker, torches the Supreme Court as the Supremes are singing, "Baby love, baby love." They're older and fatter, so is Marksman because he's eating too much lasagna.
Marksman is yo-yo man, climbing Russian wood doll. Marksman walks the dog Marksman does the dog. Marksman goes around the world. Marksman finds a girlfriend named Jenny, 20 years younger, who doesn't understand that Marksman is a marked man.
Marksman becomes a sleeper agent. Marksman converts, goes covert, does the man on the flying trapeze when he makes love to Jenny, who's 9 months pregnant with little Marksman.
Marksman rocks the baby, goes to sleep, dreams of suicide. Marksman is boss man now. Makes $1 million a year. Marksman gets to decide who to write up, who to write down, who to write off.
Marksman gets religion, marries Jenny, straps on a dynamite vest, schools militants, makes his work our work, makes his work her work. Marksman is a fly in her disappointment because he can no longer make love to Jenny. Marksman flies into the disappointment. Marksman spends all his time swatting flies. Marksman is one-man multi-armed SWAT team.
Marksman takes up leaving. At the suggestion of his therapist at Bossman's Memorial Mental Health Center, which he must attend 2 times a week, Marksman is depressed man.
Marksman unravels, ravels, unravels. Marksman drops his drawers, does surface design by pissing on them, which brings him renown in outsider art circles. Art Institute professors collect his drawers. Marksman has several one-man shows, becomes art man. Marksman crosses over, becomes an interdisciplinarian, creates erasures. Words appear, disappear, reappear, don't appear. Marksman is still making his mark. Marksman is still a marked man. And that is his checkered history. That's the longest. That's the longest one we have.
Sorry about that.
Okay.
With apologies to Wayne.
Apologies. Brothers, sisters.
Well, if that wasn't long enough, we're going to do a River Sistina variation.
Don't get me started.
So we're going to do a River Sistina variation. Tom's going to start off.
This was written by Jenene. An odd green climbs a twisted willow. An egret skims